Mrs Macquarie's one of the most famous governors in Australian history. He was pivotal in transforming New South Wales from a penal colony to a free settlement. But his wife Elizabeth's been largely forgotten, with the exception of the scenic Mrs Macquarie's chair lookout in Sydney. Some of Elizabeth Macquarie's writings are shedding new light on her influence over her more famous husband, as Rebecca Bailey explains.
It's been 201 years since Mrs Macquarie became the 5th Governor of New South Wales. And the Scotsman's still being heralded, with the recent unveiling of a $100 million library at the university which bears his name. But now, in the presence of the current Governor, Professor Mari Bashir, it's Mrs Macquarie's wife Elizabeth who's receiving some long overdue recognition.
With great pleasure, I launch, in her own words, the writings of Elizabeth Macquarie. Thank you all.
She's one of the powerhouse women of the early colonial period, and it's unfortunate that she's been overlooked for so long.
Librarian Robin Walsh has painstakingly trawled through Elizabeth Macquarie's surviving letters and journal. And now, after a 25-year obsession, he's published an intimate insight into one of the key women in Australia's colonial past.
I was surprised that in many ways no one else seemed to have collected together her writings before.
After what could be seen as a convenient romance, Elizabeth and Lachlan Macquarie were married in England in 1807.
It's a sort of Jane Austen type scenario. She recognises that he might in some ways be her ticket out of jail in that regard, because all of her sisters are married, her brother is married, and he thinks she would make a good soldier's wife.
2 years later, the pair sailed to Sydney Cove, with Elizabeth Macquarie faithfully recording the 7-month journey in her diary.
24th of December 1809. We shall be in all probability in Port Jackson tomorrow. Indeed, it is full time for our voyage to be over. We have killed our last mutton and our last pig.
We're too used to the portrait of her with the high ruffled neck. She seems like an uptight, Scottish gentry lady, and I think there's much more to her than that.
Monday, September 25th, 1809. Colonel Macquarie met with the greatest attention and kindness from Lord Caledon. His lordship is a very good-looking young man, of pleasing manners, but apparently extremely diffident.
Elizabeth Macquarie was the quintessential politician's wife, the strength behind one of the colony's most dynamic governors.
Macquarie would be the first person to say, I could not do this job without Elizabeth.
The Macquaries ruled New South Wales as if it was their personal estate.
Elizabeth Macquarie is perhaps best remembered for the sandstone chair from which she contemplated Sydney Harbour. She designed parts of the Domain and the gardens at Government House in Sydney and Parramatta. And the first 3-storey building in Australia, the Female Orphan School, was modelled on her family home in Scotland.
The public buildings that we celebrate today are really her achievement. She didn't goad him, but she suggested to him, we could do this and we could do that. So you have that sense of she was pushing the boundaries all the time.
If my Lord Bathurst encourages every disaffected, unprincipled man in this colony...
Senior curator at the New South Wales State Library, Paul Brunton, says Elizabeth Macquarie's writings reveal a woman with a social conscience who knows her own mind and isn't afraid to speak it.
...with which the governors of this colony ever have been surrounded. Her descriptions are very lively. When she's talking about the various characters in the colony, she pulls no punches there.
My dear William, I hope Darcy has long since arrived. I gave him a commission to get your hair cut, and in short, to make your whole appearance from top to toe so much of a dandy.
It is unusual to have a female voice from that time. We don't have anything like the amount of documentation that we have for her husband.
For Robin Walsh, it's a chance to adjust the history books and throw some light on a woman who played a big role in a new colony.
There's the opportunity to see history from her side of the equation, and we get a sense of who she really was.
Your affectionate and sincere friend, E.H. Macquarie.
Rebecca Bailey reporting.